Blessings and welcome. I'm here to share a little bit of an insight with my beloved guardian Aset. We're going to share a little bit about our meeting and our connection, and therefore our relationship to an up and coming offering that I'm going to be bringing to Egypt in September 2024. But I feel like it's almost anchoring a bridge of light, a prayer, a ministry. And so part of our sacred conversation is to firstly, I'd love to hear a little bit about you and introducing you, Aset, because I really deeply value not only your humanity and your heart, but your most incredible sacred mission and work in this lifetime, and of course in many lifetimes. But for me, really, in sharing our relationship, I felt it could give those who feel called to come to Egypt, very specifically to Abydos, to the House of Life, a way in or a window into my first steps into Egypt and the relationship that I've then built with Aset and Horus, the House of Life, and also to parts of me that have been awakening. And we may relate these to like past life and priestess paths or sacred ministries of the past, but I feel they're really present and they support the now. But as I said, Aset is an amazing, incredible priestess, high priestess of the shamanic Egyptian mysteries and arts. And a few years ago, I had a calling to go to Egypt, and I hadn't really looked into going to Egypt because I had a young son and just felt that I would just be focusing upon that. And anyway, this incredible podcast came into my circle of whatever I was listening to, and I listened to it, and it was about Abydos and the House of Life, and someone had visited the House of Life, and I was just very clearly guided. I must go to the House of Life. It was just very clear, this is where you are to go. I had no idea where Abydos was. I didn't know about Aset and Horus and the most incredible mysteries around the House of Life and Abydos and this ancient pilgrimage site. However, it all transpired that I ended up connecting and contacting Aset, who was just, the most beautiful light to meet on the end of an email. I could feel how kind you were, deeply devoted to your path. And I just knew, and I was like, okay, it's time to go to Egypt. So I had this amazing opportunity to go to Egypt and to meet Aset in person. And as I said, I really deeply value not only your devotional path, but the depth of your heart and what you bring and what you gift so abundantly to each person that you meet. And I imagine also through your ceremonies and your oracular priestess work, you also touch so many souls. So as I said, I deeply value you. Thank you so much for being here. As opposed to me introducing you or saying some words about you, perhaps you'd love to say hello, a little bit about yourself. That would be amazing.
Yes, thank you, Chloe. You almost make me cry. So
Oh,
yes, so thank you very much for your beautiful words. Yes, I will introduce myself. As you will hear, I'm Dutch, so my English will be my own English. So I want to apologize for it. My life, yes, it's really strange how a person's life can go and what the spiritual world has a mission for you. And this mission is that I met in 2007 on a journey, on a spiritual journey in Egypt. I met Horus from Abydos in Abydos itself. And inside the temple, inside the Seti temple, very strange things happened because I saw that I knew my current husband, which is now my my husband again, but I also saw that I knew Horus from Abydos and that we were working together in the house of life of ancient Egypt. It's the part of the temples where the priests and priestesses healed the sick people. So when I saw this in the temple, when it came to me, I couldn't trust myself if I could believe it.
Mm, mm,
And this was the reason why I went back to investigate this. And you see, the House of Life, the current House of Life, is the result. So the spiritual world brought Horus from Abydos and me together because I think they knew that we could handle this. So so the House of Life now, it's really a holy project. It is really a holy project. It's not a normal hotel, although people can come and stay with us. But the main aim of the project is to work to offer people all over the world a chance to come in contact with the energy of Abydos.
mm,
Because Abydos was always the holy city of ancient Egypt. And this is so much more. And it is very hard to explain because you need to experience it by yourself. And you did, Chloe, you did. So it will happen with every person who is dedicated to go deep in themselves. And then if they visit the temple, it will happen by itself because Seti, King Seti in the 19th dynasty, he built this temple especially for healing.
mm,
And this temple is really a healing temple and it can comfort your soul if you had a hard lifetime with traumas or something else. The temple can heal you. And this is the mission of Horus from Abydos and me, that we create this place that we can that groups all over the world like you will come in September. We are there to cooperate together, to help you, to help to be together. We are, yeah, we are sisters in the journey, and we are all the same on the level of the heart. And this is the most important thing. So, this is in a short time my introduction about myself. Maybe uh, good to say that also the House of Life is built on the thoughts of the legendary Seti. And Seti came from England and she was a remarkable woman. And this is also, it was her wish
mm.
to create again a House of Life. And yeah, we did it. We did it. And we are very happy that we can work with you, that we can spread the knowledge and share the knowledge, uh, yeah, together. Yeah. But Abydos has a lot of mysteries inside himself. You can talk hours, but the best thing is to come to Abydos and to experience it by yourself. This is, I believe, also your passion.
Yeah.
If you have, if you have had the experience and it helped you so much, you want to help others to give them the same experience
Mm,
uh, because you know it can be life changing. It can be life changing. I I I dare to say, if you come to Abydos and you come there for a pilgrimage, it's life changing. It's life changing because from ancient Egypt, Abydos was the most important holy city, and the ancient Egyptians once hoped in their life to go to Abydos, and and I deeply understand why.
mm,
Abydos is the land of Osiris.
mm,
Osiris is. is also the energy of um, the process of growing and dying and growing and dying and growing and dying. And I believe that I understand why a pilgrimage to Abydos is so important, because you can look in your book of life. You can look literally in your book of life. The spirits of the temple will help you to let you feel what went good and what went wrong, and they will help you to balance it,
Mm.
and, and they will put you on really on the path of your life. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, the
Mhm.
temple really is a live mystery temple. That's how I see it. It's an alive mystery temple that when we enter, or even when we feel the calling and perhaps look into going there, something begins to transform anyway. And for me, it's this attunement to something deeper within, something of connecting more to our source and to our essence, and understanding that deep relationship between the soul and the body, which I really feel a connection to Osiris and these resurrection mysteries, and the mysteries of ascension, really, and
Yeah,
which also includes embodiment. As you said, the experience is like nothing else, and going there um, on a pilgrimage, on retreat, going into an initiation, really is a gift of awakening to who you truly are. And I feel what it does as a mystery temple, it almost feels also very much part of a very galactic and global star
yeah,
temple.
yeah,
So it holds really pristine codes of awakening the soul, activation codes, but in a very embodied way.
yeah,
So this galactic and global consciousness is really anchored in also through the Assyrian, I feel, which is perhaps predating the Abydos or the Seti temple, and almost overlighting it. That's how I see it on a perceptual sensory level. I see this kind of extraordinary tree of life, all these beautiful lights, and it's not just obviously the Seti temple, but that has the purpose. It's almost for me in its own right alive, obviously, as I said, but a gateway into the
yeah,
mysteries of
yes,
our soul, the mysteries of who we
yeah,
are.
yeah,
And the Assyrian has this extraordinary, almost like it has this expanded connection with the land and the area, but it also goes really deep down, and it reminds us of that deep depth and the Nile and the waters below and what is within. So for me, going there was just firstly very easeful. I found it really easeful in that my body loved it. I found it's not that I felt like I was at home or that I could remember everything about it, but I felt very at ease. It's quite remarkable in Egypt, I think, at this time, just to be able to go to a place that's not highly commercial and into the whole consumerism thing and selling, and it gives you an amazing opportunity to rest deep into the sanctuary of the House of Life, which was the vision that came through the lineage of Seti, which I would presume was also through the dynasty and then before, and then through you and Horus, where the vision and the prayer for this incredible lineage was to rebuild the House of Life. And for me, in rebuilding the House of Life, we were rebuilding something within inside of ourselves. So the
yeah,
House of Life, as you've said, is a hotel, and having been there, it is a hotel, but it's the most beautiful hotel. And then it has also this inner sanctum where there are two temples. There is an area to bathe, a library, beautiful trees and flowers and herbs, and it's just really quite a unique experience to be able to come to Abydos, which is a very traditional town.
yeah.
It's not sugar coated, is it? You see
Mhm.
everything, but it's the only hotel, and it's right next to the temple, as the House of Life would have been in ancient times.
Yeah,
So it gives us this very special experience, and for me, a very special experience, which I will be offering the participants of the pilgrimages that I'll be sharing in the future to go to the temple, obviously during our curated program, but also to go alone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was really quite something for me to go out into the streets and to walk to the temple, and through that act of walking, so much was remembered. So much was remembered, which then takes me to, you know, as you beautifully summarize your experience, a very rapid experience, or just a culmination of what I'd love to thread in our sharing, is that when I arrived, I think, I don't know where I saw it from, but I saw the mountain range around
Yeah.
the temple. So I imagine when I was driving there before arriving at the hotel, whew, I began to feel, yeah, deep emotion when I started to see the mountain range to the left, driving to the holy city, and then when I saw maybe the range of mountains at night, maybe from your terrace or from the top of the hotel,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I opened my heart and I was taken to the center of the garb. It almost looks like this beautiful opening, and then goes into the sacred valley of the mountains, which hasn't been visited for a long time. I believe you last went there in 2017, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and as I opened my heart, I saw Avalon and Glastonbury in the tour. And I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I saw how there was this beautiful connection between the two stargates, and this incredible relationship of both the mysteries, the traditions, and of something very specific that obviously runs deep in my ministry, here in Avalon and in Egypt and where I walk. But this profound connection to the rose. And so I was shown a rose in the middle of the garb, and connecting it to Avalon. And the rose came to me as Mary Magdalene, and her essence is carrying the flame of love, the feminine mysteries, and the most incredible teachings, practices of sacred union, inner union, alchemy, of the soul and the body. So when I spoke to you about it, Aset, because part of my first trip was that I didn't want to do any courses, I just wanted to go to the hotel and be held. And very kindly, Aset and Horace invited me into some of the initiations. So as part of that, I then had this lovely inner circle that you share, which I'll also be sharing in my pilgrimage, where I could speak with you and Horace. And so I shared my vision. And I don't know if you want to speak to your experience of Avalon, but at the time you confirmed that I wasn't the only person that had that vision or experience, or gnosis around this
Yeah.
connection to Abydos and Avalon, and potentially Mary Magdalene and the Grail lineage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I felt it also already in 2015. It was a very nice moment because my daughter, she was in Glastonbury,
Oh,
and I was in Abydos, and we chat with each other that we would do together a meditation, and both of us, we had the same meditation, that we felt strongly the bridge,
mm,
um, from Abydos to Glastonbury. And why? It has all to do with the feminine, with the masculine and feminine energy.
mm,
The energy of Osiris and Isis, which is the holy marriage, but their son Horus. If we are working with ancient Egypt, we are working thousands of years in history, also in the spiritual history of mankind.
yeah.
And it is before the date Jesus was born. Yeah. But all of us spiritual, we will make, yeah, we will raise up. So the energy of Horus became the energy of Jesus.
Mhm,
The energy of Hathor
mhm,
is, um, involved in the energy of Maria Magdalene, but in later time. And it there's a lot to say about this. It was necessary to bring the old, beautiful knowledge about creation, which is always masculine, feminine, to bring it again to the humanity. Of course, it took 2000 years to make this understand, but now, Chloe, now, that's why I'm so full of passion about this work, because now the time is there that all knowledge will reopen again. And that's Abydos. That's why Abydos is that place of high love, the holy marriage, and it is connect with Glastonbury because Maria Magdalene, she went there.
Mm-hmm.
And also her connection, her high, beautiful high connection with Jesus, and how they carry together the masculine and feminine energy, although they could not go on together. They couldn't go on together, but Maria Magdalene was so strong, she was so divine that she went on with the work of Jesus.
Mm.
And if we go to Abydos, we will be reconnect again with that very old, holy, universal knowledge that everything is feminine, masculine, and together they do this.
Mm.
And then you can do everything. Look, Chloe, what Horace and I did. We knew we put our Horace's masculine energy. I put my feminine energy in a very high spiritual level. And that's why we could create a house of life. We didn't do anything for ourselves. We did it. We did it for the world. And this is something you can feel and what can be open when you are in Abydos.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that I explained it in a very in a way that people can understand it. Because it's so unique. All of us, we have our own experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
they are all important. Nobody is better than the other. There is no there. We never talking about this. We are all equal. We are
Yeah,
all equal on our way in the journey of this life here on earth, and we have to support each other.
yeah.
It's very simple. We have to support each other, and
And
this is
yeah,
yeah
you've been really clear and it's beautiful. I mean, it's really important because I think sometimes through different threads and media, each temple or area of Egypt, for example, have labels, and people have these experiences and don't realize that, for example, Abydos is one of the most ancient holy sites that we remember, and it is of that higher love. And by entering into those mysteries, it's an answer to, I believe, many of those who are consciously awakening at this time. And part of what I'm going to be sharing, and I feel I really, you infuse that through our interactions when we've been together in person, is the renaissance of the priestess, which I feel is really part of what Mary Magdalene is inspiring in so many women and men at this time. And I'd love to touch on just three areas, perhaps around the priestess and the beauty of the path, because it's not necessarily, as you said, it's unique. Everyone will be experiencing their own unique transformation and awakening of that archetypal energy or that way of life, which really is for me. However, the deep humanity and compassion and devotion that the priestess has, I feel is really what is needed at this time.
yeah
Because as well as this influx and this resurgence of the divine mother, the divine feminine, and therefore this restoration of the sacred marriage and the holy bridal mysteries, there is also this rising of everything within us that needs to be purified, which is why, for me, it's very important to begin my ministry of being a bridge and priestess for others to come to Abydos and to Egypt.
Yeah.
Because part of what's arising right now is inviting us and calling us and ushering in this deep devotion to become master, to
Yeah.
master our own inner world, to
Yeah.
become an alchemist,
Yeah.
to become aware that we have gifts that we were meant to know about as a young child. And this is what I'm very inspired by Dendera, where we will be visiting, that there the young priestess would have been gifted some time with the high priestess and the Hathor priestesses of Isis, time to look at her astrology and her gifts, and she would have been given incredible training and time to honor her path and her gifts, and she would then be placed in the very specific orders that she was then going to be walking. So part of the priestess for me is remembering that we have these gifts, and they are there as almost this modality or vehicle to express our creativity, these creation principles, which really are very vibrant in Egypt through the almost the process of remembrance. And so we kind of go through this process of remembrance and activation of these soul codes, so that we can almost recreate this relationship that we have within ourselves. So what I call this is the inner beloved. So this is the first step, that we go to Abydos and we utter our name, and we arrive fully open to reconnect with who we truly are, and
Yes.
to re-enter the sacred marriage mysteries within us. And this is why I've always felt that Abydos is that high love that you spoke about, because you really are held when you take that oath and you come and renew that. And then as the priestess awakens within you, you can then begin to feel how, as you build that love and you begin to awaken your heart and the holy womb and your body as a woman, you realize that not only do you have this incredible power and beauty inside of yourself, but there is this extraordinary lineage that are there with you, as you said, in sisterhood, in the Rose Sisterhood, in the Priestess Sisterhood, that are there. They're there for you. And
Yeah.
this is the first thing around the priestess activation, remembrance, that I really feel is so powerful.
Yeah.
She also has an amazing opportunity to delve into creative arts, the feminine arts of movement and oraculous sound work and healing. And a huge passion of mine, as you know, is the song and voice, like you,
Yeah.
and the anointing mysteries, really elevating the consciousness and deeply healing the body through these anointing mysteries, which I remember actually, and maybe it was you that you put some rose oil on my spine in a session once, and it was just so divine to have that experience. And so I've woven into the priestess pilgrimage, and I'm sure in all the work that I do in Egypt, like you, inspired by you, incorporated the anointing arts. So the touch, the connection, and the
Yeah.
breathing, and the restoration in between going to the temples and remembering these incredible gifts. So this awakening of the heart and the womb connection is the first area that I feel is important about the priestess and her renaissance. She's bringing back the sacredness to the female body, which of course is very sacred, as all bodies are. She's opening our capacity to remember our gifts and our magic, essentially, which I believe is also a huge occult wisdom carried in the land there and the water of Abydos and the area and the mountains. And then finally, the piece around ceremony and ritual, and doing it for thyself initially, which is what I did with you, and initiation. And we do this to remember it and to also offer it as a gift to ourselves, because it's something I think we should all do every day for ourselves, even if it's ritualistically putting a necklace on, or even if
Yeah.
it's a moment of putting some oil on your wrists. But through that process of individually feeling and remembering the ritual, the gifts that we have, and this incredible tapestry of the most beautiful arts of the priestess, and her heart, then we can begin to bring in the ceremonial of the collective healing, which I feel is such a deep strength of yours. And I experienced it kind of on a larger scale in my life during the Magdalene festival that I co-create with two friends. So we're creating ceremonial space, and we're opening up our heart, grounding. We're connecting to our gifts, which is what I'll be sharing more about, and I know you share more with Horace. And then bringing that into ceremonial space where we're conducting very specific energies for healing, for more than just thyself, more than the
Yes.
inner Magdalene group, but we're actually becoming these beacons of light in service,
Yeah.
our ministry, in service to the sacred lands of Egypt, in service to Gaia, in service to the goddess, however we want to name it. It's open. But these three components are what I'll be sharing during the priestess path. I feel like in this upcoming event, but also in the future. So for me, I don't know if you're happy just to finally share or culminate with your connection with Mary Magdalene, because I know recently you came to Glastonbury,
Yeah.
saw you in the Chalice Wells Garden with your ankh, and then you travelled to Scotland. And I ask this because I feel always just very warm when we talk about Mary Magdalene, and also it's the deep devotional path of the rose that I'm going to be sharing and being a bridge of during my time in Egypt.
Yeah. My connection with Maria Magdalene was always there from the beginning. I was a little child. I was a very devoted child. I remember when I was 6 years old, I went with my mother to the church. My mother was a member of a choir, and it was on Sunday. It was a very short service from maybe 20 minutes or 50 minutes. And my mother was singing in the choir. And I, as a little child, I had to kneel all the time. It was something that I have to do. So my devotion for the spirit, for the divine, was always there.
Mm.
And you know, when the film Jesus Christ Superstar and the song I Don't Know How to Love Him, I was in that time, I was a teenager, and I played my guitar and I started to sing that song. And I'm now 67, and still it's my song which belonged to me.
Wow.
And why? Why? Because I feel if I sing this song, I feel the strong, deeply connection with Yeshua, with Jesus.
Mm.
But it's more. It's more. It's a very high love. It's a very high love between the man and the woman you can experience. It's holy. And that's why I felt also very connected in Glastonbury. I was very happy. I never visited Glastonbury, and this year, 2 times. I was, it's made me very relieved the way the people in England take care of the spirit. I was in a chalice well, I was in a white well. I found it so beautiful. And I have a very strong connection with Scotland, with Wales, and with England. I strongly believe I had also a life there together with my husband, chef. Because if you put chef in Wales, it's like the druide. So I'm very connected with the spirit. I'm very connected with the spiritual world of healers, of priests and priestesses. And I believe if we are teaching this in the House of Life, when your soul was born, when your soul was born, it was meant to be that it would become a priest or a priestess. So the aim of my soul was always to be a priest or a priestess. So in every life, you will go on and but we are normal human people. We are not very special. No, our spirit wants to heal. Our spirit wants to take care. Our spirit wants to take care of another person. And we we have the ability to transform the heavy energy into light. We bring it back to the light, or we bring it back to the earth where the energy belong. And this is simply remembering who we once were and where we lived and how we lived together, what we did, what was your gift. And this makes the life you are living now very clear. So since I'm connected with Egypt, since 2007, I found back the purpose of my soul. Before that, I have I have a very beautiful family, a very beautiful place to live. But in that time, before 2007, I was already searching for something. I couldn't find it anymore here in Holland. And I found it in Egypt. And it was the knowledge of the soul. And it gave you the understanding of yourself and the understanding of who you are and why things happen in your life. And it will give a very big richdom inside yourself. And yeah, it is, and it's simply hard working sometimes, because you have to deal with all kinds. If we have the building of the house of life was a big process, but through that big process of wonderful things and very hard difficulties, I learned who I am, and I understood the knowledge of the ancient Egyptians in a very deep way because of this.
Mm.
The only thing is I want to start to work. I want to start to work in Egypt. We go to the temple. We uh, it's wonderful to let them experience the atmosphere in the temple, the beautiful things, but also the sadness. It will touch also the sadness. It will touch the tears you didn't cry on the moment you had to cry them. And you kept them in your body. So Abydos and the temple is so love caring. You can give everything to the temple, so you will be renewed when you go at home, and it will give your life, yeah, the right direction. Yeah,
Mm. Wow, that's amazing. I love what you said, the tears that you didn't cry, and it will give
yeah,
you the right direction. And it's so inspiring how you know, have this most beautiful family and husband, which obviously you still are very much part of. Yet you really listened to your heart and your soul when you met this other man,
yeah,
and you were guided and he was guided, that you would also come together in this life from very strong past life memories to create this incredible place, not just for yourselves, as you said, but in service to your soul's path.
yeah,
And that's what I said at the beginning when I first met you. I could just feel that your heart was really quite open and very, very humble and sincere. And that really, to me, all of what you've spoken about relates not only to us, but also to many women who are rising at this time. And I'm speaking about women because my particular work at the moment is bringing
yeah,
women.
yeah,
And
yeah,
of course, if men are there, then we incorporate them. But at this time, there is this rising of actualized souls who are remembering and who chose to come at this time to support the deep step into a new cycle of time. So that's it's really an important work. And as you said and touched upon, that beautiful way of saying that those tears and those parts of you that have not been brought into the light will potentially rise and be given that opportunity to have space to breathe into and to have a held, in a temple. In that, in Abydos, there is that comfortable sacred space, but also the temple at large, and the land there will also be holding you on that journey, which I feel is really the journey of the soul. It's the journey of Mary Magdalene. During my time there, I'll be teaching one beautiful code of Mary Magdalene, and she has guided me around what to share, and her inspiration and her rose mysteries that are connected to those lands very specifically, and the path that we're going to be walking from Luxor to Abydos and Dera, and then up to the pyramids and the Sphinx. Essentially, for me, all of our discussion, the purpose behind coming to the House of Life and being a bridge for others, is to bring the sacredness back into life. And I feel that the priestess, the priest, is an adept in those mysteries, and their heart is ready for this step.
Yeah.
Because not only does it transform and heal us out of those conditions, those distortions, those beliefs, but it also makes us feel super amazing, because we then, as you said, come into the right North Star alignment and direction. So this really was my experience. I will share more deeply. We might meet again if Aset is open to share deeper into what I received in my first experience. After the death of my daughter, I was taken to the most beautiful temple. And at the time, I kind of felt it was Greece. But actually, when I went to Abydos and the Hall of Hope, that vision and everything came back. So I will share more about this story. And then what both you and Horace spoke to me about individually, that I had been a priestess many times in Abydos, and actually had been a bridge. So very likely a bridge from such places as Avalon and other incredible lands or stars. So really, that's my holy offering, my intention and prayer really is a dream of coming back home, returning home within, offering the light and the beauty and the embodiment path of the Holy Union, the high love, the sacred return to remembering the body is an amazing experience. And finally, really just to say that we are here for this period of time, and really we chose to be here. So I think this is an amazing opportunity of remembering that, and
Yeah.
gently awakening through the feminine way with Mary Magdalene and these beautiful mysteries, that everything we need is within us. And yes, we can magically open who we are. Because on my final parting words, for me, Mary Magdalene, like Mother Mary and these Rosa Mystica guides, these beautiful beings, and Yeshua, they are extraordinary embodiments of divinity, of the mysteries, and therefore give us this opportunity to open these gateways inside of ourselves. Love. So is there anything else you'd like to share to complete?
Yes, I think we shared. I think we gave a good insight
Yeah.
what Abydos can bring to you, and I'm sure that's when the people come to Abydos, the House of Life, they feel safe. They feel safe. They feel that they finally can give their soul, their the light, the attention. And it's pure, that's really an present for yourself, that you can give yourself the attention and be with yourself being in the temple. But maybe, of course, fear can be touched also. Yes, it's let it come. We are not afraid for fear. We are not afraid for fear. But it and maybe sadness. Oh yes, I cried in the beginning a lot because all the sadness it had to go out. So this can also happen, but then you have the feeling that finally you have a place you can give it back. You can give it back.
Yeah.
And you know, in this in the House of Life, we also work with the sound healing, with the Tibetan bowls, which is a wonderful way of working with the energies and cleaning yourself and cleaning your aura. So this is and the massages, the food bath we can offer. They are all really for the body and the mind to take care of it, to to give attention to your beautiful body, to give attention to your ka, your ka. That's maybe something people will not understand, but we will explain them what we will mean with the ka and the ba, because this is the way the ancient Egyptians saw the humanity, ka and ba, light and shadow, and they are living inside us, and we only have to balance them. We only have to balance them. Yeah, and this is a beautiful way. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
I think we told, yeah, we told everything.
Yeah, and a very important aspect is that I'll be guiding this pilgrimage, and I've called it a pilgrimage, a Magdalene pilgrimage of the Rose. But I've also been really clear that there's going to be the retreat time in Abydos where you will be there,
And
and
Horace will
Horace.
also be,
And
yeah,
so we will
yeah,
get this amazing opportunity, as you've said, to not only spend intimate time with you in your beautiful place, but potentially maybe some oracular sound work, maybe
yeah,
a circle in the inner sanctum. As I said, the hotel has obviously places to stay and a pool and a restaurant, but it also has two temples where I'll be offering inner circles and councils so we can get together and share our experiences and perhaps initiate the ritual of the day. And there'll also be a night under the stars.
yes, yes,
So this is going to be a new experience.
yeah, yes, yes, yeah, yeah. A new
And
experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Aset will be with us for the retreat period of time where we will go and visit Dendera and
And and and also, Chloe, hey, you know that Hanan, I will explain. Hanan is we call her our spiritual daughter. Hanan is a young woman. I think Hanan is 33 now, and she is trained by us, by Horace and me, and she is now one of the women who is. Assisting us, and she will be with you in Luxor. Eh? She will do the program. And then, of course, when you are in Abydos, Hanan will also be with us. Eh? And she will go with us also to Dendera. Yeah. And to the monastery. Yeah. The White and the Red Monastery.
yeah, so we're visiting the White and Red Monastery, which we had a lovely conversation about, didn't we, Aset, which we can share more with participants. But the
Yeah.
connection and the relationship between the red and white source waters and Avalon, there's a lovely mystery there, really amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll work with
Yeah.
an invocation, and each of us will receive exactly the most perfect ritual there when we're together, and a teaching that I'll be sharing over the whole period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
gonna
it will be teachings. It will be teachings because Abydos has, and the ancient Egyptians, they have a certain knowledge how they saw the human, and to understand this, we need to tell it.
Yeah.
And then you go to the temple and you will go and experience it. And in the rituals, in our sharings, in the treatments,
Yeah.
you will, yeah, travel
Yeah.
through timelines, through your own body, through your own soul. And you will, yeah. And
Mm.
then you go home and then you will notice that your soul became free.
Mm.
Relaxed. Yeah. And
Yeah.
many people, if you really have a connection with Abydos, if they are at home, then they have homesick feelings.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
They have
Absolutely.
homesick feelings. But that is, it's because their soul recognize the ancient place and the ancient energies. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely felt that, like an energy that I couldn't quite recognize. It was like, ooh, it was, yeah, it was the ancient holiness of the land.
yeah, yeah. And you recognize that the energy, the spiritual energy that time was so very high, and our soul were used to feel it. And our soul in the past were used to work with it. And now we, if you live nowadays, and you live in a city,
Mm.
uh, with a lot of noise around you, with a lot of people around you, and you are a spiritual, sensitive person, it's very hard.
Mm.
In the past, for example, you would go to a monastery and to live there in silence with a beautiful environment. But nowadays, we we have to live in cities with a lot of noise, people. Look what happened in the world. Yeah, and this sometimes for the sensitive spiritual people, it's hard. And this can also, to come to Abydos will strengthen your power.
Yeah.
So you can easily put all the things which make you feel not comfortable, you can easily put them outside.
Mm, mm, mm. Absolutely, and which is a really key calling as to why you would choose to come on such a pilgrimage, but
Yeah,
also maybe it would answer why you have this deep calling, because there is really something very special about coming into this container, and immersing for whether it be 11 days or 14 days or 3 weeks. It just gives you that space to go within essentially and to receive the beautiful knowledge. So it's going to be an amazing trip. I'm really excited because it's almost for me an initiation and a grounding of a really beautiful chalice of overflowing rich love that I have within me, that's awakening, and also the love that I have for you, Aset and Horace, who I hold very dear as elders, as inspiration, as carriers of a very beautiful vision of our ancient traditions, but also that which we are birthing now. And this is what's really important, is that by coming back to these lands, we activate it in the now. We bring the cellular memory, the somatic, the sensual to the now, and then it can express and awaken and remember in a really healthy way, as opposed to it being a kind of a strong awakening that maybe your body and your soul could have held, in previous lives, but it's not necessary for this time. So this is what I feel the magic and the mystery of Abydos really guides us. And I'm really looking forward to the knowledge you're going to be sharing for us alongside the program. Um, yeah, I'm really, it's not looking forward to it, but I just feel myself at the moment bowing into this experience. And it's sort of opening, yeah, really sweet
mm,
anticipation, bowing. That's all. I'm not really, I don't have words for it, but I see myself bowing and almost being consecrated into this next step. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so
Great.
thank you so much, Aset, for having this gorgeous conversation with me. I wanted it to be really organic and not like an interview. I just wanted it to be us talking, which it feels so organic. I can feel the energy flowing. I also want to thank Horace, and I really highly recommend looking into the House of Life and your history, the books, YouTube around this incredible, miraculous creation of the House of Life. I love you very much, Aset. Thank you all for listening. I'm going to share the details of Aset, her website, because you share the most beautiful programs, initiations, one-to-ones, constellations of incredible awakening work for priests and priestesses who want to enter into initiation at this time. And I believe you work in Europe as well, don't you? You work in Holland and in Egypt.
Yes. But now most of the time in Egypt. Yeah. And if I'm for a longer period here in Holland, then I also can give the workshops here. But if I have only 2 months, there is a lot of preparation before you have to go. But the programs will almost be in Abydos. Yeah, and you can find it on the website. You know, I have a Dutch website. That's in fact only for here in Holland, but the English website of the House of Life, you can read everything, and people can always come to us, and we will explain them if they have questions. Yeah.
I'll leave the details here, but thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Conversation. Much love.